It's time for police, isn't it? Madam Clerk, I think we have a quorum. I'd like to bring this meeting to order. Town of Cedar Point regular meeting Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. Welcome, everybody. The rain's here. I think it's set into Friday, Thursday and Friday. Okay, we're going to have a moment of silence to begin with, and if everybody will stay standing afterward, we'll do a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda and the consent agenda? And I'd like to add a closed session pursuant to 143-318.11. Put that in 11A. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as well as the closed session at the end.
Got a motion on the floor. Those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, David, adoption of Carteret County Comprehensive Transportation Plan.
All right, on this, we have several individuals from the state here. Amanda Killian is going to be the one presenting for us this evening.
Well, thank you so much for having us here today. Thank you for that introduction. So like David said, my name's Amanda and I work with the Transportation Planning Division at NCDOT. I also have Matt, the brush code here, and Hemal Shah, who work with me in the Transportation Planning Division. We have Mickey Anderson, who works for the Down East Rural Planning Organization. And we also have Len White here, who is the Division 2 Planning Engineer. So yeah, today we're just going to talk to you a little bit about the Carteret County CTP, which has been going on for a while. And we will hopefully seek your adoption of the plan. So. Oh,
You should be able to just click it right there. Or I'm sorry, scroll down. It's not PowerPoint. That's right.
So here's the agenda, just everything we'll be going through. I'll do a quick refresher on what a CTP is, and then we'll talk about the recommendations for Carteret County. So just a friendly reminder, a comprehensive transportation plan is a high level and long range needs-based plan. So it's looking out 25 to 30 years in the future. And it comes before any prioritization or funding. So it's just very early stage planning. It's developed by NCDOT, the Down East Rural Planning Organization, Carteret County, all the municipalities, as well as community stakeholders and the public. And it just helps to represent a consensus on a future transportation system, and it's multimodal. And there's one for about every single county in the state of North Carolina. So this is just going and updating the 2014 Carteret County CTPs. So here's a little bit of a timeline. So we actually started this plan back in summer of 2020. We did all the initial map setup and everything, and we formed a steering committee, and that was comprised of representatives from all the different towns. There's many of the towns that we get to participate, including David Reed. And that was also people from the county and NCDOT. And we released a public input survey back in the summer of 2023, where just anyone could submit comments online. on just their concerns with transportation in the area. And then we had some delays just due to COVID and staff turnover. So in October of 2023, things really kind of picked up again. We had meetings about every month with our steering committee, and we met one-on-one with many of the towns, including the Cedar Point. We did engineering analysis, and then we went and we put together these draft recommendations for the CTP. And in May of this year, we held 4 public input sessions where we had poster boards and people could come out and again, kind of express any of their comments and whatnot. And yeah, now we're just going to all the towns and seeking their adoptions. So here's kind of the next steps. Like I said, we're going to all the towns. I think this is our 9th town, so we have 2 more in November. So we've been doing this presentation a lot. But after that, we will go to endorsement from the Down East Rural Planning Organization. And then we will seek adoption of the plan by the NC Board of Transportation. And then we'll create a user-friendly book, and that will all be posted online. And all the draft of everything is currently posted online as well. And again, this will just better support funding opportunities for the future. So we're here to present to you and hopefully seek your adoption of this plan. Yeah. So with that, we'll just get into the highway recommendations. So here, this is a map of the entire Carteret County showing all the recommendations, but the next slide will have an inset of Cedar Point. So here's just showing your area. So we have a couple highway recommendations. The red projects, those are kind of showing areas with high congestion. So we have a couple improvements along NC 24 and Emerald Isle Bridge and NC 58. And we also have an intersection improvement at 403. And we also have project 316, which is a modernization project. And again, I just want to stress that these are very high level overview of the needs of the area. So there has been no funding for these projects yet, but if there ever were to be funding in the future, this is kind of just like a first look at it, showing the needs that are in the area. And if you go to the next slide, this is zooming out a little bit more so you can see more of the county. But we wanted to highlight 2 other projects. We have the NC 24 bypass in this plan. Again, there was just a need due to congestion on NC 24. And we do have like a mid-island 3rd bridge in this plan. But again, I just want to say no funding has been secured or anything. No location has been picked out or anything like that. This is just showing the need and putting it in a plan. So if you ever want to go apply for funding in the future, then it would be kind of a little bit of a backbone to that. So are there any questions on the highway recommendations or?
403, it says that construction is due to begin in 2026. And like you said, there's no money in place to get these.
Yeah, I guess I should clarify. So yeah, some of these are in the State Transportation Improvement Program. So those have been funded. So we like to just show these in the plan as well. So it kind of all ties together. So yeah, I guess that one, there's one exception. Anything with like R, yeah.
So the clarification is 403. There are actually 2 projects for the same location. One is a funded project that is going to be constructed in 2027. That is intersection improvement. In the plan, we are proposing the interchange of proposal that is not funded. So ultimate goal is to have a interchange at that location.
So this is not a question and answer meeting. They've had 4 of these sessions already in the county where they opened it up to questions and answers. So tonight, this is just them presenting to us, either approve it or don't approve the plan. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions on the highway projects or? Okay. Well, with that, we'll move ahead to the bike and pedestrian recommendations. So again, on the next slide, this is just a picture of the whole county, but on the slide after that, we have an inset of Cedar Point. And the projects for the bike and ped are broken out by color. So the brown projects will be multi-use, and then the purple will be sidewalk. And so we have a lot of multi-use additions here and sidewalk in our plan. So again, if these ever go for funding in the future, we've kind of identified the need here, and this will hopefully serve as kind of a backbone. Are there any questions on those projects? Okay. We also wanted to include a couple other maps that will be in the final CTP, just so you can see them here. So we have a map here, and this is just showing the facility types for the future. So again, this is the whole county, and then after this is an inset of Cedar Point. And this is just showing the proposed facility types through 2050. And we also have a public transportation and rail recommendations map. There aren't any recommendations for Carter County. We're just showing the existing Amtrak or freight route in here. Are there any questions on those maps or anything? All right, so with that, we would just seek your adoption. So we'd ask you to vote to adopt the plan. And if you choose to adopt, we can send you the paperwork later. You can come back to us after the meeting.
Man, the biggest thing I want to talk about the plan, I mean, it's a great plan. I mean, everything on this plan is needed, but it's not needed in 25 to 30 years. So somewhere along the line, I don't know if it's the governor of North Carolina or who's got to get involved, but we have to quit kicking that can down the road. We've kicked it. I mean, infrastructure in this area, and you look what Swansboro's been through for the past, I don't know, 6 months or more. It's getting pretty bad over there. So we're always behind in this area. So just like the meetings we had here, I mean, one of our meetings, as soon as they said it was 30 years out, well, they all left. You could hear the vacuum going out in the room. So we really have to get behind this stuff somehow and get it done. I know you can tell them what we said, because the citizens and we are not happy about it. We have got to do better than this, what we're getting. So, I mean, this road out here, we get about 32,000 cars a day on this road out here. So in 30 more years, what's it going to be? 50,000? 50,000? Is that being?
I think the number that was used previously early on was 69,000.
69,000. So, I mean, you know, so if we did go put that bypass in, so that would drop this number down to about 18,000, something like that. So, I mean, we've got to go ahead and do that. Because I'm telling you, these guys in this neighborhood and me too, we're not going to be able to get on this road right here in 20 years. So, I mean, that's a lot. And I'm 72 years old. So, I mean, time is very valuable. And we do have to start moving this thing down the road. And if there's any way we can do it as a town, you tell us, we'll start hollering more than we do, but we are hollering. But there's a lot of stuff we're going to do. Do you have any kind of timeline to throw out there? Like when we're going to do the 2458 intersection down here. See, we don't. And see, it's so important to have that right now. Somebody's got to change it. Somewhere it's got to change. And I am harping at you, and I know you can't do nothing, but I hope you push it on what we're talking about. And I could talk about the DOT road situation all night long. So
Mayor, I think Lynn White is coming up. I think he can give some information about 2 projects that are scheduled to take place, R58, 58, as well as the repaving project.
Good evening. Real quick, just a high level. You know, guys know how everything works. It's funding. It's where the money is, where it's not. We've gone through a lot of dips in the last few years. It's a little bit better. There's some things on the horizon looking better. So hopefully there's going to be some funding for some of these projects faster than we've had in the last few years. Again, work through the Carter County Transportation Committee, which David's on. Mickey with the RPO is who puts these projects in for scoring. They've got to be competitive throughout the state. There's 3 tiers, there's statewide, regional, and division, but still you got to compete against everybody else. So the RPO picks which projects are going to be the most competitive and puts those in for scoring. So just continue to work through that committee that David, you can see that. As far as R 5858, there is going to be it's scheduled right now for next June 26th for let. So a few months later than that, probably late 26, early 27, we'll start making some improvements up here at the intersection. It's going to be more capacity and mobility. It's not going to be a full-blown interchange at all. It's just going to give another right turn and help get some of that off of 24 onto. Of course, it's going to back up a little bit more to the bridge on certain days, certain times, but that'll help. And there's also going to be one coming, I guess, west towards the light from Cape Carteret onto North 58. So that's going to be part of that project. That will be next June. Taylor Notion at 58, in about a year, plus or minus, there's going to be a construction of a roundabout. So that's going to help that intersection. That's a tough geometrical situation there. But yeah, roundabout's going to be put in about a year. So we're going to design that. The resurfacing right now is going on. I guess they're doing some mill and field work on 24. So that'll be continuing. And they got contractor has 18 months to work through that contract, but at least they're here now getting started. So that's just a high level real quick. Got anything else you want to?
No, anything you can help us to get this
But again,
traffic going.
I'm with you. We
You know-
would love to get these projects in
Yeah.
next week and on the ground, but it's just a matter of funding, and they got to be competitive to get funding. We know the need. Work with your legislators, work with your anybody that's got some noise in Raleigh, got a voice. That's going to help the process about finding funding for it. It's just gotta find the money.
And I will say, DOT recently, if you haven't noticed, the intersection right there at Bojangles, Old 58. One of the concerns that we kept hearing complaints about is trying to make that left-hand turn into Bojangles. You have to pull out into the intersection and basically wait for the red light to take place and the oncoming traffic to stop in order to turn into Bojangles or go to the RV park there. And recently they've added a designated turn signal there.
Mhm.
So that's been one good thing that we've been looking for a while. So we appreciate it.
And not in your township, but just across 58 at Golf and Dolphin Drive. That came up in the Cape Carteret meeting 3 or 4 weeks ago. Same kind of situation there. A lot of activity, a few wrecks. So come to find out, we've already had some background work going on with that signal being improved. So when you go to McDonald's or where you're going to go, that's going to help you out. So anyway, any more questions, let me know. David knows how to get up with me if you have anything after this. Thanks.
Just push it through, help us. We want to be like Raleigh. They're spending a lot of money on roads in Raleigh. Send some of it my way. Thank you, man. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Mayor, I believe in order to meet DOT's requirements, we'll actually have to open up to the public for comment, not a Q&A session.
Okay,
But in case they have any comments.
you didn't put it on my thing, son.
Yeah.
I got you.
Sorry about that.
Okay, anybody got any comments? I said enough. Thank you. Okay, I entertain a motion to adopt.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the Carteret County Comprehensive Transportation Plan as presented tonight.
Got a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
That resolution for adoption was included in the packet.
I will say, Mayor, appreciate David serving on that committee. That's a big plus for us. And I've had full confidence that he will do a good job and serve us well and represent us for what we need, because he knows our needs and what we're facing. So I appreciate your time on that committee.
He's done a lot on there. Just think none of it getting built.
We'll just keep them to a standard.
Yeah.
Just can't come up with funding because it's not his to come up with.
Right. All right, David, special use permit application SUP 2025-05 Mug Shop Restaurant and Cocktail Lounge.
All right. So the application and some additional information is included there in your packet. I will kind of go over the general rules as I usually do for a special use permit. We will now open the evidentiary hearing for special use permit 2025-05. The applicant has requested the special use permit for the property located at 1069 Unit C, Cedar Point Boulevard. With it being a special use permit hearing, this decision will be made by a simple majority vote of the board. This hearing is a quasi judicial evidentiary hearing. That means it is like a court hearing. State law sets specific procedures and rules concerning how this board must make its decision. These rules are different from other types of land use decisions like rezoning cases. The board's discretion is limited. The board must base its decision upon competent, relevant, and substantial evidence in the record. A quasi-judicial decision is not a popularity contest. It is a decision constrained by the standards in the ordinance and based on the facts presented. If you will be speaking as a witness, please focus on the facts and standards, not personal preference or opinion. Participation is limited. This meeting is open to the public and everyone is welcome to watch. Parties withstanding have rights to participate fully. Parties may present evidence, call witnesses, and make legal arguments. Parties are limited to the applicant, the town of Cedar Point, and any individuals who can show they will suffer special damages. Other individuals may serve as witnesses when called by the board. General witness testimony is limited to facts, not opinions. If you plan on discussing impacts on property values and projections about impacts of increased traffic, you must be qualified as an expert and must provide the factual evidence upon which you base your expert opinion. Witnesses must swear or affirm their testimony. At this time, we will administer the oath for all individuals who intend to provide witness testimony. So if you plan on speaking during this hearing, if you would come forward.
You don't swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
Disclosure. The parties to this case are entitled to an impartial board. A board member may not participate in this hearing if she or he has a fixed opinion about the matter, a financial interest in the outcome of the matter, or a close relationship with an affected party or person. Does any board member have any partiality to disclose and recusal to offer? Hearing none. The parties to this case have rights for any ex parte communication to be disclosed. Ex parte communication is any communication about the case outside of the hearing. That may include site visits as well as conversations with parties, staff, or the general public. Does any board member have any site visits to disclose? Hearing none. Does any board member have any conversations or other communications to disclose? Hearing none. Based on the disclosures we've heard from the board concerning partiality and ex parte communications, does any member of the board or any party to this matter have an objection to a board member's participation in this hearing? Hearing none. All right, at this time, I will now introduce the hearing. I will go through the special use permit application as it's been provided to you, and then walk through the different standards as part of that, and then we'll open up the discussion. So in your packet was the application for the special use permit. The applicant here is Jonathan McDaniel, representing the property owner, certainly, and then the applicant, the business owner is here as well in the audience. The property where the request is asked to be made is 1069 Cedar Point Boulevard, and I would say 1069 as a whole, simply because while the particular use that's proposed is within Unit C, they of course have to have parking and all the other things associated with it. So specific use of the property will be in Unit C, but the additional use of the outside of that building, but within the property at 1069 would be used. It is zone B1 and is in a zone X, so it is not in a flood zone. The proposed use as listed is Mugshot Restaurant and Cocktail Lounge in Unit C of the existing building. We'll talk a little bit more about the distinction between restaurant and cocktail lounge under our ordinances would be defined as a bar. So in the notice of hearing, we identified it as a bar. And we'll go into that a little bit more in a few minutes. So in order to be granted a special use permit, the proposed use must comply with all applicable requirements set forth in the town's UDO. Additionally, following a hearing, the Town Board of Commissioners must find that all of the following standards will be met. The applicant is encouraged to provide written answers addressing each of the following standards prior to the formal hearing. Additional information, documentation, and argument may be provided at the hearing to support your position that each of the following standards will be met. So, standard A, that the proposed use conforms to the character of the neighborhood, considering the location, type, and height of buildings or structures, and the type and extent of landscaping on the site. The applicant responded that the proposed restaurant and cocktail lounge is for Unit C of existing building within commercial site already approved for commercial uses in B1 zone and conforms to existing site, including landscaping. Standard B, that adequate measures will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designed as to minimize traffic hazards and traffic congestions on public roads. The applicant responded to this one with existing site has two entrances onto private drive dividing traffic flow and provides ample stacking for egress back onto NC Highway 24, which is public. The existing site has adequate parking for all three business uses, and the differing hours of operation on all three different businesses help offsite traffic congestions during the different peak business hours. Standard C, the adequate utilities, water, sewer, drainage, electric, etc., are available for the proposed use. The applicant responded that each unit in the building has its own water, sewer, and electric services. The proposed Mugshot Restaurant and Cocktail Lounge will connect to the existing septic system and is allocated 900 gallons per day, which is a 30-seat maximum. To offset the potential for high-strength effluent, a separate 2,000-gallon dump tank is proposed that will receive a separate waste line from the restaurant's coffee bar. Unit C is also already plumbed to an existing 1,000-gallon grease trap before discharging into the existing septic system. Standard D, that the proposed use will not be noxious or offensive by reason of vibration, noise, odor, dust, smoke, or gas. The applicant responded that the proposed restaurant's food operations will take place inside an existing insulated building and will not be noxious or offensive by reason of vibration, noise, odor, dust, smoke, or gas. Standard E, that the establishment of the proposed use will not impede the orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted within the land development district. The applicant responded that the establishment of a restaurant and cocktail lounge in this location will not impede the orderly development and improvement of surrounding property, as all adjoining parcels are already developed. The existing site has adequate parking and drive aisle space to keep use within the confines of the subject parcel and not onto adjoining lanes. Standard F, that the establishment, maintenance, and/or operation of the proposed use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare. The applicant responded that the proposed restaurant and cocktail lounge is within an existing building and site designed by licensed professionals who are bound by law to protect the public health, safety, and general welfare. Standard G, that the use will be operated in compliance with all local, state, and federal laws and will not become a nuisance by creating criminal activity or public disturbance. The applicant responded, the proposed restaurant cocktail lounge will be operated in compliance with all local, state, and federal laws and will not become a nuisance by creating criminal activity or public disturbance. The proposed use is for a satellite operation of an existing established restaurant named Mugshot that already has a location in Morehead City near the intersection of Arundel Street and the bridge to Atlantic Beach. Their existing restaurant has become a local favorite in Morehead City with excellent ratings, and their hope is to create a similar non-chain food option in Western Carver County. So that is the application that was submitted. Together with it is a copy of the site plan. Pre-existing, I'm not sure if Jonathan's made any changes to this based on what had previously been approved, other than I think there's a note here for optional drive-through window. That may or may not have been on the previous, it was not. Potential drive-through window there on the side of Unit C. in this note here, proposed special use zoning for restaurant, as well as the parking chart and business hours listed for the proposed restaurant as it's identified here. And we'll talk about, I need to address that a little bit more in a second, but so there's your parking data and all that. Our ordinances require that a map be provided of all properties within 2,000 feet, just so that the board understands what's in the general vicinity. So that map was included, as well as a zoning map showing those same 2,000 properties within 2,000 feet. Properties located right here in the middle with a little arrow to site. And then included with it is a map that we created showing the location as part of the notice requirements, highlighting this property in relation to the adjoining parcels. Both proposed uses, that of a bar or nightclub, as well as that of a restaurant on the next page, with or without a drive-through window, are both permitted in a B1 zone with a special use permit. So looking at both of those together here. Now, if you'll notice on both of these, there are additional standards. We'll go through both sets of standards. So additional standards for both bars and nightclubs and for restaurants with or without drive-through windows. So on your screen at the moment is the standards that apply to bars or nightclubs. Says that screening and buffering shall comply as necessary with this ordinance. A required plan shall be submitted identifying the location of existing structures on the property within 1,000 linear feet of exterior walls, and the properties with zoning district noted within 2,000 linear feet of each property line. Uses from the property line to adjacent uses or adjacent properties. Hours of operation shall not continue past 2 a.m. and noise level shall comply with Chapter 9, Division 2 of the Cedar Point Code of Ordinances as applicable. Servers of food and beverage shall at all times be fully clothed. The nightclub or bar shall be limited to one wall sign per premise. The sign shall be internally lighted and shall be allowed maximum size of 20 square feet. All county and state regulations shall be adhered to by the nightclub or bar regarding serving of food and or alcohol. So the only things that really stand out in there as far as the hours of operation, that was already addressed. So 2 a.m. our ordinances say is the latest. What's been provided by the applicant. So I find where my mouse went here. Okay. Is Monday through Wednesday, 7:30 a.m. till 9 p.m., Thursday and Friday, 7:30 a.m. till 10 p.m., Saturday, 8 a.m. till 10 p.m., and Sunday from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. So not looking to stay open late. As far as restaurants, the additional standards that are there, the following specific standards shall be used to evaluate an application of approval of uses in this category. Outdoor eating areas shall be buffered, screened, landscaped, or otherwise located to protect patrons and adjacent properties from adverse impacts and provide pleasant experiences to the patrons. There's no outdoor eating areas shown. Outdoor player recreation areas shall be located on a pedestrian facade. There's no outdoor player recreation proposed. Drive-up windows and ground-mounted menu boards shall not be located on the primary or pedestrian-oriented facades. To the extent that a drive-up window would be used, it is not on the primary facade facing 24. It would be on the side there. Stacking space for drive-up areas shall not inhibit traffic flow on the site. That's something that would have to be discussed for a drive-up area. A restaurant may qualify for an on-premise fortified wine or mixed beverages permit or an on-premise malt beverage permit under NCGS section 18B-900. If there's an inside dining area set aside for the service of meals that contain seating for at least 36 persons, food shall be available at all times that alcohol beverages are being served. This is a matter of state law subject to change only by North Carolina General Assembly and or ABC Commission. We'll talk more about that in a second. F, although a facility need not necessarily possess all of the following characteristics to qualify as a restaurant, each is typical of a bona fide restaurant. The local authority making recommendations to the ABC Commission may consider the extent to which a facility possesses these characteristics in dealing in deciding whether to recommend issuing, suspension, or revocation of the permits listed above. The facility has a printed menu listing full meals with substantial entrees. The facility has complete cooking and refrigeration equipment. The majority of the food sold is prepared in the facility's own kitchen, and prepackaged foods comprise only of an incidental amount of the sales. There are separate service and kitchen staff. Seating for dining customers is primarily at tables and or booths. And a relatively minor portion of the premises is devoted to activities unrelated to the service and consumption of food. So the reason I want to highlight subsection E there, and the reason that this is being considered both as a bar and a restaurant, is if you're looking at it just from a restaurant standpoint, the seating is not for 36 people, it's only for 30 people. And therefore, if it were just a restaurant, it would not be able to serve alcohol. So the request, I think, and I'll let them elaborate more on their plan of operation, but has been to be a bar that sells food as opposed to a restaurant that sells alcohol. But I will let them elaborate more on that. But wanted to make sure all bases were covered in the application for your consideration. So there is no prohibition on a bar serving the food, but want to make sure that was addressed from both standpoints. And that is all that I have to go over with you on it. I'm open to any questions. And again, the applicants are here to address any questions you have, or if they want to elaborate.
Get a motion to open the hearing.
Make a motion to open hearing.
Now open hearing. Thank you.
David, I have two questions. One, I thank you for clarifying that for sewer purposes, it's a 30-seat maximum. But Jonathan, do you know what the building occupancy or the unit occupancy is for C? Go back to your cheat sheet.
Jonathan McDaniel, Tidewater Associates. As far as the occupancy in the building, so the space is still a cold dark shell, hasn't been fully designed or permitted yet, so don't know the exact number.
And that's
Fire
something
marshal will give them,
that would be determined by the fire marshal.
as far as I know.
And I guess a last question to the applicant. Are you envisioning any future live entertainment or other activities?
If you would come up and state your name for the record.
Brian Williams, and I own 50% of Mugshot. We currently do on Friday nights, we'll do like a one-man kind of band. Sometimes we bring in the high school kids. They've got a jazz band. And we keep everything inside, and we don't do like hard rock and roll or anything like that. But we have an acoustical come in usually on Friday. Maybe a two-man thing, but we also have like the high schoolers come in. We do karaoke on Thursdays. I don't know if we do that at this location or not. But yeah, everything that we have done is always inside. Is that right? We don't know what's inside. Yeah.
Jonathan, if you want to get up here and tell us about the business itself. We have some standards right there. We need to make sure we hit it. And I think if either one of you guys talk about your business, you'll hit on a lot of stuff that John just wanted to know about.
Yes, I'm dealing more with the outside stuff of the building and operations. So like the drive-through thing, it's not really a true drive-through like at a Starbucks or whatever fast food chain. It's more of a pickup window. So there's no intercom. So what that does is it greatly reduces the stacking of for cars to order. So they have one at their business in Morehead City, and it's just a pickup window. So if there's no one there and you haven't called ahead, you just pull up and you can order. Otherwise, if you've called ahead, you just pick up. It's very similar to the Olea restaurant that's in Swansboro, just pick up window, which I've had discussions with DOT and they're okay with it. I just, once we get through this, then we would submit for our driveway permit.
So is there designated parking places just for that unit, or are you counting all of them in the whole?
It's one thing we'll work through, but I mean, employees would typically be in the back. And in front of each unit, there's a couple spaces. So we're kind of working that out. So unit A, the spaces in front of it would be
So I think you
set
have
apart for that.
40, and there's 40
40
parking
spaces.
places on the property. So you're counting those 40 as
Yeah.
the entirety, not anything designated.
Yeah. And so a lot of their business, so like their peak hours would be kind of, afternoon and the evenings when the other two businesses are closed. So it's kind of, they have a fair game on the whole parking lot. But yeah, they're proposing the exact same business model that they have in Morehead City that's been doing very well for over 4 years. Same menu, same hours. I'm excited to have them in there.
They got a website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been to the one in Morehead City.
Yeah,
It's pretty nice.
nice.
It's not bad.
Can you just clarify for the record that there won't be any outdoor seating, there won't be any outdoor play areas?
Correct. None proposed.
I made I thought statement, but I want to
Yes.
just clarify for the record.
You got anything else you want to add? You good?
Our plan is we want to repeat what we're doing in Morehead. Exactly same menu, exactly same feel, exactly same customer base. We want to take what's successful there and just repeat it here.
Get a motion to go in public comment.
You want to ask your regular question?
Say again.
I said, are you going to ask your regular question?
I will.
I ain't got there yet, but go ahead.
Just want to make sure you didn't miss it.
Jonathan, the rules of these hearings is that the board has to make decisions based on the sworn testimony of the witnesses, the documents that are presented. Was he sworn to testify?
Yes, sir.
Will you confirm under oath that the submission in your application is correct and true to your knowledge? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Entertain motion, go into public comment.
Make a motion, go into public comment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now in public comment. Anybody in the public have any questions at this time? Okay. Anybody have any questions for John? David? Everybody good? Okay. Motion to close it here.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve with conditions. If you have any conditions, now is your time to tell.
Mayor, I do have a couple of concerns. As always, and we've learned from our experience, not only are we approving the special use for this applicant, the use stays with the property, and theoretically, if they leave, another bar can apply and use that special use within 6 months. So my concern is you have limited sewer capacity, and there are bars that exceed their sewer capacity on a nightly basis. We don't know what the building or unit capacity will be when the fire marshal approves it. So I am afraid of not so much the normal business of the restaurant or bar, but if and when they do special events or entertainment or what have you, that could impact both capacity of the lot and unit and of the parking. And I think that the business is great. I have no issue with what you're doing. I'm just concerned about the impact, not of noise in this case, but of just overwhelming the unit. So I would urge my colleagues to look at that issue, not only for this establishment, but what might come after it if they ever choose to leave. That is really my only concern.
Going to do a motion with a condition.
I will. Let me make a couple of things that I think all of the elements of the special use permit have been met. However, I do want to add one condition that for the use at this location, live music or live entertainment would not be permitted. Or special, well, again, the issue is you can't control what the use, what the entertainment may be. So in some cases, there may be a few people coming. In other cases, you would have lots of people coming on a weekly basis or more. I'm just concerned about does it impact capacity and sewage?
So your entertainment, what's your entertainment gonna be? Tell me again. And you're not gonna go outside the scope of what you're open. Right?
No, we want to do
Existing,
identical what we're doing. So our entertainment generally on a Friday night will be acoustic, just acoustic, like a 1 or 2 man kind of thing. Now, I know we have brought in the high school jazz a couple times, right? But we do that to help the community. We do have, we do have one very busy night of the year. We raise money for misplaced mutts, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But we would probably just keep that location right now because there's no reason to do it twice in 2 different locations. But our music is acoustical. It's just not, when we started Mugshot, we wanted to have, and Jason and I talked about this, so many places are loud in Morehead City, restaurants and bars, and we wanted the complete opposite. We wanted to give the town something that had more of a lounge, relaxing kind of feel to it, music wise and the way it looks.
And it's needed, I agree.
And hopefully we'll be there forever.
I'll withdraw my motion, but I'll let some other commissioner make the determination, but that is my concern.
Are you more concerned about just maybe like the amplification and the?
Not at all, not at all. My
Or
concern is not so much this business. It's what it could be, a business down the road that comes in and doesn't have your philosophy in operation. The special use permit isn't tied to you, it's tied to the property. So that is my concern. Other than that, I think it's a fine operation, and I think it would be a good addition to the community. I'm just concerned about not so much the parking. I think there's adequate parking to take care of it. I would just be concerned on if you end up in an operation where you have crowds, literally, or future operation has crowds that just exceed the capability of the building. But so I will withdraw my motion and let another commission make a motion.
John.
Thank you, Commissioner Nash, because I had the same concerns when we first started talking, and we've actually been negotiating just stuff probably since April. And it's just the logistics of the sewer and the parking and just the logistics all, because it's like, it's not just my business is next to it, but like I own the property too. So it's like, and being an engineer, it's like, I know what can happen to a septic system if it's not taken care of properly. But yeah, I think the music thing too, and we've discussed it with our middle neighbor, Piper and Grace, because she's open till like 5:30 or 5, like the latest. So I mean, I'm totally fine with the condition of no live music before 5:30 or, I mean, obviously after 10 is the latest when they're open. That's a fair thing. And two with
Well,
the,
I think our regulations is 11 in it, John.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
yeah.
can close it.
So
yeah, I love their hours. Like latest is 9:30, 10. So yeah, I mean, I get a bunch of calls on that space. And I haven't advertised it at all. And it's just been waiting for someone with some quality and class that would fit the area and be an asset. So, and the parking too, I think it's going to work out great because, you know, after 5, it's 500 Grace is closed, and then we close at 6 Monday through Thursday and close at noon on Friday. So it's like we'll have the whole thing.
Mayor, I'm gonna ask Jonathan a question.
Okay.
It might be that David or Alicia can answer it.
Okay.
And that is, how does the fire marshal determine the capacity of a room? Do you know?
I do not know.
So that's gonna be based on whether there's fixed tables and chairs, movable tables or chairs, or standing only. And what space is available. I can tell you just that space, unless he makes 95% of it kitchen, there's gonna be more, the fire capacity for that room is gonna be much greater than 30 seats. But when the health department comes to check on him, he will be limited to having no more than 30 seats where people can sit down and eat. That's how that works.
It's about parking spaces too, doesn't it?
So our parking requirements are based on the number of seats. So if you look at the chart here, it'll show that for mugshot, it's 10 spaces minimum plus 1 for every 3 seats. So there's 30 seats divided by 3 would give you 30 seats inside the restaurant. Divided by 3 should be 10 spaces, not 10 seats. So a total of 20 spaces, the 10 required plus your additional 10. Threw me off there with that typo.
What drives the limit to 30? Is that just the application? That what drives it? Or
That was for us for our septic system.
that's it's just septic system that drives it? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's very
So he's meeting.
complicated part.
So
It's
you're
hard,
meeting that.
it's hard to
with
put
the-
any restaurant on septic system.
Yeah.
We're actually doing the same concept that, so believe it or not, Starbucks in Cape Carteret is on a septic system. It's gotta be the only one in the country, I would think. But since we helped with that, we know how they were able to get it designed to work, so doing the same thing.
Well, septic and parking,
Yes.
because they wouldn't have been able to do any more
Sure.
spaces to meet the parking requirements either.
Yeah.
So they both created the similar limitation.
Thanks, John.
I move we approve special use permit as written for mugshot.
Got a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Right.
All those opposed?
Mayor, I didn't get to this, but our Commissioner Castellano, would you do a supplemental motion that reflects what Commissioner Nash's motion originally was, that the applicant has met all of the standards for a special use permit?
I make supplemental motion that the applicant has met all of the standards for supplemental use permit.
That work here. Got a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Ness, did you vote no on the second?
I'm silent. It's just a yes.
Okay, text amendment TA 2025-3. Thank you, John. See y'all. Good luck.
All right, so text amendment 2025-03. These are some proposed changes to our UDO dealing with parks, public parks and playgrounds. What's been added here, this is the language that was provided to the planning board. Subsection B and C. Subsection B states structures customary to public parks and playgrounds are allowed regardless of the presence of a principal structure. And then C, all setbacks for structures customary to public parks and playgrounds shall be a minimum of 10 feet or 1/2 the distance specified in the applicable zoning district, whichever is greater. This does not apply to park structures used primarily for office space or storage of maintenance equipment. So the idea is that other than office space, so an office building for a park, or the storage of maintenance equipment like a shop building, other structures associated with a public park can be closer than the underlying zoning specifies by either 50% or 10 feet, whichever is greater. So let's just say you have a 40-foot setback for a park, and this would allow playground equipment or a bathroom facility, something like that, to be located at 20 feet as opposed to being set back to 40 feet. So it gives a little more flexibility for structures other than the office space or maintenance of equipment. And it clarifies an issue that our ordinance specifies, that there should always be a principal building for any kind of principal use. Certainly we can have, the idea is to have parks that may not have an office building there, but there may just be some playground equipment or a picnic table or a picnic shelter or something like that. So just wanted to clarify that as part of this change. What prompted this change was our discussion a while back regarding Boathouse Creek Park and the desire to put a bathroom facility there at the front. If you'll remember, a couple months ago, I showed you the drawing of where we had wanted to put the bathroom facility and then found out it wouldn't meet setbacks in that location unless we did a text amendment. Otherwise, we would have had to move it off to the side. Not really an ideal location because of the location of the septic system and all that. And so this is basically the proposed ordinance to resolve that issue, but also to provide a little additional flexibility. One of the other places this provides flexibility for us is over at the park at Bridgepoint. So the little tiny park that we have right here, 0.15 of an acre. It's only 45 feet wide. So if at some point we want to put some kind of playground equipment in there, or we do have a picnic table and a dog waste container out there now, and a grill. But if we were to put anything else, 45 feet wide isn't very wide to put something. So it would give us a little more flexibility on a park like that. That is the language that was proposed. The planning board, when they reviewed it, recommended changing the last sentence of subsection C. So as it was written, this does not apply to park structures used primarily for office space or storage of maintenance equipment. And their proposal was to reword it to clarify something. It says, this does not apply to park structures used primarily for office space or storage of maintenance equipment, which must meet the zoning requirements of the underlying district, including all setbacks. Basically just clarifying that if it is an office building or it is a maintenance equipment building, that whatever the underlying zoning district is, it has to meet those setbacks.
But it can still be a bathroom.
That's good.
Yeah, bathroom would still be able to be 50% of whatever that requirement is, as long as it's 10 feet. Because most of our zoning districts have a 10-foot side setback already. So they wouldn't be able to come any closer than that.
That one sentence cleaned it up.
Yeah, it did.
So
Clarified it.
that's good. That's good.
So, and their vote on that was unanimous, 4-0. Going through our comprehensive land use plan. Here's the different goals, CAMA goals, and then our listed Cedar Point goals. This text amendment doesn't fit very strongly within any of it, but it does fit within the community vision, which is Cedar Point is a small coastal community that prioritizes the needs of its residents. We will strengthen our identity as a recreational oasis, providing ample amenities for our residents while protecting our many natural resources. And also playing goal R1, which is to continue to improve Boathouse Creek Park to expand public, particularly through low impact uses such as kayak launches and passive park spaces. So the primary objective in this is to solve the issue at Boathouse Creek Park in order to increase recreational opportunities for the public. As such, you've been provided with a proposed consistency statement that says the Town of Cedar Point Board of Commissioners hereby finds that the following request, TA 2025-03, a request to amend the Unified Development Ordinance pertaining to park structures, is consistent with the Town of Cedar Point Comprehensive Plan because the proposed language further supports the town's vision to strengthen our identity as a recreational oasis, providing ample amenities to our residents while protecting our many natural resources, and specifically implementation action R1, which is to continue to improve Boathouse Creek Park. I'm open to any questions that you might have.
Any questions from the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve text amendment.
We have to have a public hearing.
Oh, we do?
In there, if there's any,
It's not
because it
the
is a text
same.
amendment.
Any citizens have any comments? Hearing none.
Just make sure we check the box.
Motion to approve text amendment TA 2025-03 with associated consistency statement.
Motion to approve text amendment TA 2025-03 with the associated consistency statement.
Motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. All right, David, standby generator bids.
All right, so we did send out a request for proposals, an RFP, to 8 different contractors who have done work in Cedar Point over the last couple of years installing generators. So we are specifically targeting those that we knew worked this area, installing generators. We received 3 bids back. I've put them in alphabetical order here for you. They're from Carter Heating and Cooling. And all that information is there for you. The next one is from Generator Super Center. And then the third one is from JL Britt. What was interesting and what was surprising is in the RFP, we indicated we placed the responsibility of determining what size generator the town would need on the contractors. Right, we didn't want to make a mistake and say, okay, this is the size generator we need. You come here, you look at our usage and tell us what size generator we need. All 3 bids quoted a different size generator.
Sure.
They all quoted the same make and model. All 3 of them are the Generac Guardian series, but they analyzed our needs a little differently. One quoted a 22 kW, one a 24, and the third a 26 kW. So I followed up that with a question to each of them. And I said, we've received 3 bids. Surprisingly, all 3 of you selected a different size generator. So explain to us so that I could explain to our board why you recommended the size generator you recommended and why it's a better fit than either of the other 2 sizes that were proposed. And I did receive answers from all 3 of them. They focused, the one on the high side, the one on the 26 kilowatt, basically said that they calculated based on a residential load and then added 25% because we're commercial and provided room for growth. So they felt it's better to upsize a little bit than undersize, gives the town room to grow for any future needs. The one at the bottom said, well, we wanted to basically meet the bare minimum that we thought that you would need. We want to keep the price as low as we could to be competitive. And so we priced it, just meeting your basic needs. However, what we're proposing would not necessarily cover the heat strips should they need to be used in a wintertime situation without some additional work. So there's a way they can manage that load for the heat strips on an HVAC system. The one in the middle, the 24 kW, their proposal said, well, we looked at your load and we provided a little room for growth, but also part of their project is to incorporate and plan for use of those heat strips by including the management of that HVAC system. So they're actually proposing a little more work, if you will, on that system to reduce the load on it and make sure that it has plenty of room for growth. If you looked at the bids themselves, looked at the price amounts, there is $100 difference between the two lowest priced ones. But they're still not apples to apples. And what I mean by that is the one that is the lowest priced, or the smallest generator, the 22 kW, also includes pricing for installing the pipe, the underground pipe to go to the tank. Where the other bid did not. So one, you have a smaller tank, including the pricing for piping. The other one does not do piping, but would provide the connectivity to the HVAC system to make sure that load is managed in the event those heat strips are needed. At the end of the day, looking at the different ones, I reached out based on the variations in the bids to figure out, okay, what would it cost to buy a tank?
This is propane?
Propane, yep. To buy a tank or lease a tank. In comparison, the one bid provided dual 120 gallon tanks. The larger generator recommended a 500 gallon tank. The 500, the larger generator does have a larger draw for fuel. However, when I reached out to the local gas companies to talk about it with them and get some quotes from them, everybody recommended 500 gallons. Basically, 240 or 250 gallons will get you about 3 days worth of full-time use on a standby generator like that. So if you want a week's worth of use, you need to go with the 500. So the 26 kW bid included price of $3,205 for a tank and $1,000 for the propane. So their bid was a total of $20,813. If you were to go with the cheapest initial bid, which is the $13,895, the smallest unit, and used their 240 gallon recommendation price and purchased the propane for it, you're looking at $17,031.04. Because theirs included the gas line install. If you go with the middle of the road one, the 24 kW, we can get the gas line installed for $1,500, lease a 500 gallon tank for free with a 3-year contract through Suburban, and get that first 500 gallons of fuel at $1.89 a gallon.
David, have you looked into natural gas?
Yeah, that was my question. What about natural gas?
So haven't looked into it. That's
have.
certainly an option. None of these would change the recommendations on the units themselves.
No.
So we can certainly, it's the exact same unit set up to be fed by either fuel source.
No, but the price of hookup it may be different. It may be less, maybe more, I don't know.
But it would be a different cost to look at for, instead of a propane tank and filling it, you'd have the installation cost for that. I'd like to know.
The sky's the limit on the amount of, if you go 17 days, you can go 17 days on gas.
Yeah. The difference though is if that gas line breaks somewhere in the event of emergency, now you have nothing. Where if you have the fuel already on site, you have some measure of.
Did you ever look at diesel? That's what the government uses. You don't use
Yeah.
propane.
Yeah,
It don't last. And you'll be I think you'll be surprised at how short a 500-gallon tank would do on a 26 kW generator that's running. And then you have one, the way generator sits on top of fuel tanks, double wall, so you don't need any kind of spill protection per se, because it's double wall tank.
I don't think you're gonna be anywhere in the price range though.
Probably not. But not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Yeah, your propane though will last 10 years without any degradation.
No, I don't know about it.
Well, that's what they claimed. All the propane companies. So it'll be,
Frankie, with your expertise in this, what about that 24 kW?
I would go 26 for expansion, no doubt.
Yeah.
About it.
But with the 24, no.
I don't. What's the price there?
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't know
price.
the price, so that's why I was asking.
Huge amount.
so if you're looking at just, cause I asked the 26 kW to break it down. So it versus the 24, you're looking at 16,608 versus 13,995. So you're looking at $2,600.
I ain't real crazy about messing with the air conditioner or the heat pump out there.
But that's just the,
Make it more efficient, so it can do the start. It's a soft start. That's what they're gonna put on it. More than likely.
So what it is it manages it when the system tells the heat strips to come on, it will override that when it's running on generator until the load on the generator drops back below 75% of capacity. So if you're running full capacity or above 75%, those heat strips won't come on. It's just there is a protection that if those heat strips do kick on, it's not overloading the system, is basically all it does.
Do these come with an automatic transfer switch?
Yes,
Yeah.
all three of them
That's good.
have priced in the automatic transfer switch.
Who has the 26 kW?
That would be JL Britt.
Where are they out of?
Get down to the bid here. Mount Olive.
I kind of like the idea of going with the 24 because it's a local business.
Yeah, me too.
That's kind of where I was at. That's why I asked.
Supporting.
Yeah, because
somebody that's in
he's right here. And if we have a problem, they're, I mean, Mount Olive's not far, but Mount Olive's an hour and a half away, whereas Carteret Heating and Air is 3 miles from here, or 2 miles, whatever. So,
Talking about a substantial difference.
He didn't do a 26 at all, did he?
And we asked them to propose the size that they think was appropriate. I mean, all three of them, I'm sure can quote us for whatever size we want. But
I'd say, Chloe, get a 26 code quoted.
From John White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We think that's what we need, and we should.
I think we do for the future. I think we.
For the future,
we
correct.
need to look down the road.
yeah, don't look for today.
Because it's not that great a difference to me.
He does too.
Um,
He does. He did mine.
Said anything, we have to make a decision tonight. I mean, you can get another bid on 26 and
yeah, so what Carter Heating and Cooling responded when I asked them to compare their proposal against the other sizes was that a 26 kW requires larger conductors and the generator itself is significantly more expensive. If we own the building, we would put a 24 kW on it. With that said, we are happy to provide a quote for 22 or 26 if you want.
That's 24 in stock.
He's got he's got a 24 in the shop.
Right.
Well, I will tell you, when you look at the different, and there may be some minor differences between them that I just haven't picked up on, but if you look at their brochures, you can see that Generac Guardian Series 20, 22, and 24 kW is all on one sheet. And then their 26 actually has its own brochure. So I suspect there are some probably internal component differences between the two that would cost it to be a more expensive product.
Well, they're standard too, you know, I'm pretty sure standard is that.
The others had said there's about a $400 to $500 difference between a 22 and a 24.
I would just, I would just tell David just to keep, get what we're asking, if they're right here in the backyard, let's try to see what we can get, for the pricing. I mean, I feel like that's.
If you guys want a 26, then let's ask for a quote from Carter Heating and Air
Yeah, that's what I
for
do.
that specific thing, so we can compare the two same generators.
I'm good. That's fine.
I'd much rather keep it here in Cedar Point than
Oh, yeah.
somewhere
Me too.
else. You know what I
So
mean?
do you want me to bring it back to you next month, or do you want to go with whichever one of those two provides the lowest bid on a 26 kW?
I don't think it needs to come back to us. I mean, you're all over it. You've got all the logistics, the
I would just go
details.
with Johnny White because he's close. I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
you're never gonna get any service
unless
from a
it's
guy in
super-
Mount
Unless it's
Olive.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's a long way for a little generator like that.
that's right.
What
Crap.
was the estimate on the 26?
Just the unit by itself, was 16,608.
Do you want to go with the not to exceed amount? I mean, what amount do you feel comfortable? 18,000 if there's add-ons?
Well, their actual quote was 21,700.
It's 21,000.
Who's?
Right.
For the 26.
But that's not just the unit, that's
Well,
everything.
Yeah, so I guess the bottom line is, what do we think the comprehensive cost would be? What price range are we comfortable with?
What do we set aside? The budget. What's in the budget?
Budget for it.
So we didn't have a fixed number in there because we
Okay.
compiled a lot of different
Gotcha.
things in the public works budget, including the truck and trailer and all that sort of stuff, so. But yeah, around 15 is what we had, but is kind of what I initially estimated, but. I mean, $1,000 here or there ain't gonna make.
Right.
A difference in there.
As long as it's in $16,000 range, I think we can
I'd see what,
just delegate.
I'd get up with him, see what the number is.
Yeah.
Run it by us.
Do it by email.
Yeah,
Yeah, do it by-
just Texas, whatever.
I'm good with that.
And I like the idea with the free tank and stuff. Better that rather.
So what I'll do on that, because, all of them, they said they could just install the unit for us. I wasn't under the impression that we had natural gas in front of town hall. So I'll check into that though, I'll verify that. If it is an option, then I'll explore that and bring that to you. Otherwise, I think the better option would be the 500-gallon tank. It's through Suburban, they're out of Newport.
Well, it's
They-
gonna cost a lot to bring it in if it isn't here, because we aren't gonna have enough, appliances for them to do it for free.
They're not, they would not want to run gas for a standby generator.
No. They don't. It's not enough, but.
Ask them about the PM on that generator too.
They did it at my house.
The PM.
Generators need to be
Yeah.
PM, the ones
They'll
I've
do it.
dealt with. You have to run them with them. And
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure the batteries, chargers and all that good stuff.
So another thing about the Carter Heating and Cooling, they actually had the cheapest maintenance agreement as well.
Yes.
At $125 a year.
Right.
They'll come out, check it out, all that
They
sort of
did.
stuff. And they all are set up to where you can put them on a system to where they will self-start and test themselves.
Do a weekly self-start.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that, Dave.
Yep, good.
All right.
Deputy's not here. David, you're up.
Kurt is with a gentleman who's in distress and they had to take him to the hospital, but he wanted to remind everyone of coffee with the sheriff. Tomorrow night here, we'll have refreshments and coffee. Sheriff Buck will be here. So we hope all of our board will be there and the public, spread the word, and put advertisements out. 6 p.m. Yes, 6 p.m. We look forward to seeing everybody.
Right now I'm up.
You're up.
All right.
Sorry.
Short.
Sure.
Yeah, we've already given you enough time, maybe.
All right. So,
Please.
one thing I already mentioned earlier, in case you didn't, see it, just a reminder about the traffic light, DOT, move forward with. I know that's made a lot of residents, in Bridgeview, Bridgepoint, and, Bogue Sound RV Park very happy, as well as some of our guests to Bojangles and Go Gas and all that. It is set up on a system kind of like all the new ones are, where it's monitoring how much traffic is there to determine whether it's needed or not. So it's not going to cycle always with a turn signal, but it should when needed. Of course, the big highlight this past month has been Cedar Fest. We had an excellent turnout. I think our highest ever. We don't have any official numbers from the fire department yet. I don't think. Haven't heard anything from them. I would say based on their projections last year, it was probably 7,000 to 8,000 people. We had 500 wristbands and 500 tattoos. For the kids, the parents had to sign a waiver to participate in the children's activities, and they all got used.
I got a tattoo.
And when we ran out of that, we started just stamping their hands because we didn't have anything else to put on there. Fortunately, we were able to borrow a stamp from Cedar Point Clothing Company. So yeah, great turnout. Everything went well. All the food vendors were happy, which they're not always. So they were very happy. People bought a lot of food this year. Vendors, some mixed reviews. It was one of those that some didn't do as well in their sales as they thought. Others did great. I think a function of that is probably just the economy that we're in, the number of furloughs in the
It wasn't
community.
There's a lot of people there.
Yeah, it wasn't flat. That's for sure. I want to give a big shout out to all of our volunteers. We had a ton of great volunteers. Some of them stayed with us all day long. Those helping with parking, helping with the t-shirt tent, general information, the waiver tent. Just so much stuff going on. Staff did a great job as well. The guys working around the clock to keep the trash hauled out of there, keep the toilets, the porta potties stocked, as well as Jane and Alicia. All the work leading up to it, everybody worked together to get everything done. We all kind of did things outside of our comfort zone, whether it be painting boards or drawing pictures on boards for the kids or what have you. There's a lot of work that went into it. We had a lot of sponsorships, both those. Want to recognize Pogies and Pogies at the farm for providing both kayaks as well as our petting zoo. Cape Clark Baptist Church volunteered to man the fossil dig pit for us, so that opened up not having to have other volunteers. We had some scouts out there with us. The Homeschool Beta Club was out there. Just a great turnout, a lot of activity. Financially, we raised $24,150 from business and local sponsorships. We weren't sure some of them kind of came in last minute. We wound up spending, I don't have a total figure yet, but just over that $20,000 mark. So we stayed within budget this year, which is great. Want to thank the county for lending us the radios again. We couldn't do it without it. And I especially want to recognize Alicia with all of the work that we've had going on with permitting stuff, special use permit applications. We've got a rezoning request coming up soon that we've been dealing with, the Board of Adjustment hearing, and all the normal permit stuff. She really went above and beyond with a lot of stuff she was doing for Cedar Fest, and I think she should be recognized for that. It was unfortunate this year that 2 days before the event, we did get word that we wouldn't have any of the military displays because of the budget issue. But they were very, apologetic, and even the guys that were supposed to be bringing the equipment out were kind of disheartened to learn. In fact, we found out before they did that they weren't coming. So they were looking forward to it as well. But overall, great day, and glad we can all rest a little bit for a little while.
That was a tough day.
It was long.
It's like a 15-hour day.
Yeah, so I opened the gate pretty much right at 5:30, and as I was pulling in the gravel road, somebody was right behind me, followed me in the park to get set up at 5:30 that morning. So
That's crazy.
Couple updates on some things. You may have seen this past month we did have the street sweeping take place. Done by the town of Beaufort. They did that shortly after it was approved last month. They did a phenomenal job. That was the best the curb has looked in.
How much time do they have in?
So just under 8 hours, and that's travel from Beaufort to here. He did some. He had to go back and get water from West Carter Water Corporation, and then come back, do some more.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their equipment was able to do most of it in one pass. When the equipment started getting full, it wasn't picking up as well. So he had to do a little stretch twice just to get it all up. But our former contractor doing it had, they'd make 10 passes and still leave half of it out there. And they were going to be charging us, they wanted to increase the cost to $3,500 to give us a relatively poor product or service, where the town of Beaufort was able to do it for $1,343.40. So the guy that did it, excellent, knowledgeable on his equipment, very nice guy, happy to do it. We were a little concerned about the traffic. He was fine. We followed with a town truck. It would be nice at some point to have an arrow behind the truck, just a flashing arrow, just to give a little more protection. But it all worked great during the middle of the day. So, update on Riptide. They're getting very close to having everything in place. They now have their driveway and septic. They're working through some minor things on the stormwater permit. All of that whole subdivision is permitted together, and the state hasn't finalized the permitting from the Tractor Supply and Extra Space Storage analysis yet, but they're ready to move forward, and the state's willing to let them move forward with this project because there's so much open space left as well that they're still going to be well within compliance of what they've got out there. But that's the only thing that they're still looking forward to, but are hoping to move forward in the very, very near future. I'll give you an update on Alicia. In November 18th through 20th, she's going to be in Concord, North Carolina, for a managing floodplain development through the NFIP course. Some floodplain education taking place there. And she's interested, and I support her request to participate in Leadership Carteret. For anyone who's unfamiliar with it, it's a program put on by the Chamber of Commerce. It really introduces an individual, and I know we have an audience member that's been through it as well, to the inner workings of both government and business community throughout Carteret County. I went through it 2009, I think. And it was well worth the time and investment to go through that. It is 1 day a week for multiple weeks, starting in January. But just want to make sure that there was no opposition from the board for participation in that program. All right. Last thing that I have for you is an issue that has been difficult to address. So I know we as a town do not like to impose financial penalties on anyone. We give them as much time as necessary to get projects brought into compliance. However, we have two that have been out there lingering for quite a while. After their final notice of violation was issued, they're assessed $100 penalty and then $50 per day for every day the violation or violations continue. As of October 18th, one of those businesses has now accumulated $6,100 in civil penalties, and another one has accumulated $18,100 as of October 6th. And the question is, at what point does the board want to move forward, if at all, with placing liens on these properties to make sure that if they get sold,
Who is it?
that the work is brought into compliance at some point? So the lesser one, the more recent one, is 421 Cedar Point Boulevard. I'll pull it up on the screen here for you. We've been battling to have an illegal shed removed from the property for quite some time. It's the property, it's owned by Eric Pierce. It's the current business location of Crystal Coast Marine Contracting.
Okay.
So there's been a shed, a blue shed placed in this back corner back here. Without any permits, does not meet floodplain regulations. And our letters and, threats of civil penalties have not.
I'm surprised he doesn't just take that out. I'm really surprised.
Huh?
Yeah.
It is a portable, I think it's what, 10 by 20, or you remember?
I believe it.
Does he not know?
Oh, he knows.
He does.
It's very large.
Yeah. Well, after.
I'm just surprised he just didn't take care of it.
Yeah, I'm too.
I mean, our only remedies in that situation is to impose civil penalties or take them to court for an injunction. I mean, certainly that's on the table as well. But I think maybe a letter from the attorney indicating that if they don't move forward, that possibly a lien would be placed on the property might invoke the property owner to force the removal from the business owner.
Yeah, I'd do that right away.
Who's the other?
The other one is just down the road from it at 405 Cedar Point Boulevard. It's this property right here, this vacant one.
Yeah.
Quite a while back, you can see where this fill dirt was added in there without any permits. And they basically took a lot of concrete and brick kind of scraps and dumped it back in there, which violates both our UDO as well as our floodplain development ordinances.
A lot of concrete dumped in there.
And then they just covered it over a little bit. And so the violation would be simply the removal of that unpermitted fill, the concrete specifically. We could permit the fill dirt itself, but you can't use it as a dumping ground for construction waste.
Have we made contact with that owner?
Many times.
Okay, because
Are they local?
I want to say she came to a not one of these meetings, but I have heard her talk because she was curious on some things. I'm just curious if she even knows what's going on. Was it a female?
It is owned by a female,
Yep.
but her partner has been in here a couple of times. Past
Yep.
stating that he would bring the property into compliance to no fruition.
Well, in their defense, they did make a little bit of progress and then stopped.
Yeah.
They removed a little bit of it.
There's a lot of concrete in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I stood on top of it when they dumped it in there.
I just remember her coming to a meeting. I think it was a planning board meeting. And she had a bunch of questions about something, and I think it was in regards to the tax place. And she was wanting to know a couple of things, and you could tell she was really like baffled and confused and just needed some direction. So that's the only reason why I bring that up. I just want to make sure that
The letters and certified letters that have been received are very clear on what needs to be done.
Okay.
And they've addressed a part of it, so they know what needs to be done.
that's all.
Yeah.
I just remember her coming here. She was very baffled, confused, and just was, wanting some direction. So
So I'm just looking for the board's guidance on how you want me to address it to moving forward.
I think you gotta move forward with attorney letters. I agree. I'm just surprised about the one that had to move the shed. I figured he'd do that right away.
Yeah, we were, when we had inquired about, Cedar Fest, our fossil dig pit, that particular business owner had provided that to us last year for Cedar Fest. And when approached by one of the committee members, basically responded, well, if I can keep my shed.
That's about right.
So,
That's surprising.
That's hard.
Because we work with them and stuff. In the past.
but. All right, so Neil, we'll get together. Do you want to send just a letter to begin with, or if there's failure, do you want to move forward with a lien itself?
I say move forward if they don't.
I like
They
give them
don't
another chance.
start
But
doing it.
his letter first.
Yeah, get the
But if they
letter,
don't,
see
if
where
this
they do.
continues, I mean, then.
Yeah, if you
give
just,
them like a final note, last chance.
Yeah,
yeah, if they blow the letter off, I mean, we really don't have a chance. We don't have
I'd like,
anything
yeah,
else to do.
I'd like to see a letter first, because what he's done there has improved that property tremendously
Oh, yeah.
compared to what
No
it
doubt.
was. But I also know that there's rules and regulations as well. And I think a letter stating, hey, this is your last, like Frank said, this is your last notice. Just trying to be good partners, good neighbors. Please help us out here. If not, then there you go.
We're gonna do all that, but we got to go forward after that.
Yeah, but I mean, what he's done there has improved that lot tremendously compared to what it used to be. But that doesn't make up for doing something wrong. I get that.
You don't know the whole story on all that stuff either.
Yeah, there's a.
You are there.
Yeah, and as far as that building itself, right, it's one of those, there's no principal structure there.
Right.
Right, so he could elevate it to meet the floodplain requirements and put a small office in there.
But if I'm not mistaken, he would have to move it closer to the road if he did that, right? He'd have to be like so
Yes.
many feet off of the canal.
Yeah, there's many violations.
There's many,
there.
yeah, he's got a lot of things he's battling there.
Cross Camera ain't made him move it. That
Well-
concrete wasn't a camera. They were outside the limit on the camera regulation, wasn't they?
Is it outside?
That concrete,
It's-
wasn't it outside the limit?
Outside of 75.
No, it's within the 75. Yep.
What's the story on the concrete?
Huh?
What's the story on the concrete? I'm just curious. How do you end up putting concrete on a lot?
I believe it came from the nail salon that was put in next to Swansboro First Baptist in the old bank building.
Yeah.
That was there. They did a lot of concrete work,
That's what
and I think
I mean,
there's similar
Jane told me about it, so I rode down there to see what they were doing. And they were working, but there's more concrete than they took out of that building down there. So he got it in more than just
Yeah,
that.
it come from several jobs.
Yeah. Cause there was a lot.
Why in the hell?
Out of all the places too.
Right?
Out of all the places.
Right there on the
That's
main
crazy.
drag.
We actually had a similar situation from another property owner where they dumped a lot of that stuff on, and when we noticed them about it, they cleaned it up right away. It wasn't a difficult job for them to get it out. But
I mean, that's what you do. You clean it up.
Yeah.
Wow. It is.
that's it.
Jay?
Trick or treating, I just wanted to canvass the board. Friday is Halloween. Is 6 to 8:30 reasonable that I could put something out? We've been getting some calls. 6 to
That's our
8:30.
usual. They still go till 9:30 anyway.
I had kids knocking on my door at 10 o'clock last year. Like,
Don't have that happen. Go home, go to bed.
Deal?
Thank you all, Mayor.
Don't do that to me no more. Scared me. All right, open floor to public comment. Huh? Nothing, Mike? You good? All right, Jerry.
I just want to go back on the Cedar Fest, great event. I think it's more of a venue now than anything. I think it's got a good name for itself. I enjoyed working. I'd just like to graduate from parking though. I mean, I'm getting a little tired of parking cars. I can tell you.
That's your job,
I
bud.
can tell you any make, model, color, whatever you want, tires, mufflers, rims, I can tell you about it. But no, great event, great job from the staff. You know, I know there's a lot that goes involved with those things, and kudos to you and your staff for doing that. And, we got election, you know, so please go vote, vote, vote. I know myself and Pam would love to be able to serve on this board again and, you know, continue the good things that we have going on. And I really hope that people just really get out there and vote and do their due diligence the right way. So that's it.
Gary,
Everybody be safe Halloween. That's all I say.
you be safe.
Will.
Pam.
Well, what Jerry said about voting, I appreciate all the support. And as far as Cedar Fest goes, I can't say enough good things about everything that I saw out there from the town and staff. Alicia running from place to place, like I could never find her because she was so busy. She was here, then she was there, and she was here, and Jane too. You guys are just, I mean, managing everything, and there's a lot, and it's a crazy day. And yet, through all of that, no one ever got irritated or got spicy or any of that. And so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did. You just missed it.
Okay, well, I missed it. I mean, you guys were. You didn't do
Anytime
that
David
to
sends
me.
me to a group of old guys, there's a
Okay,
problem.
yeah.
I didn't want anything to do with that.
I sent you because you had a golf cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those, I know that some of the patrons got spicy, yes, but none of the town staff, that's what I'm talking about. Like,
They didn't have time.
you were so busy and you didn't get it. You didn't get nasty with anybody. And I think that's just a testament to you all and how professional you all are. So thank you. And please thank the rest of the town staff that isn't here tonight.
The committee. Thanks
Yeah,
to
the
the committee as
committee
well,
as well.
Gary.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
really. I mean,
I know that the committee puts a lot of time and energy and efforts in getting those sponsorships, and also I want to really thank the committee as well.
John,
Fine, sir.
Frank.
I did just to reiterate everything. I didn't really help. I was out of town with my
I got a
wife
job for you, but
thing, but
You weren't
Yeah.
there?
I come there later that evening, but we went to South Carolina for her health issues. And everybody knows about
I
it.
hope she's doing good.
She is doing good, but I appreciate all the effort. It's a lot of work and help on this. Try to plan a 10,000 people festival. That's what I envisioned, what I seen there. They were parked all the way to 24 walking, but just a good job. And with the mullet festival being canceled and competing against that little finger mullet, whatever they called it.
Finger mullet.
I mean, I wish everybody the best. I'm glad we're a little bit better. From what I heard from people I know there. So thanks everybody and be safe, trick or treating, and see you next month.
Well, Cedar Fest, I can't go without saying anything about it. Cedar Fest was amazing. And it has become a huge event, a destination. And, you know, driving a golf cart for 12 hours, I talked to a lot of people about it. They, you know, they just found out it was here, a lot of them. And, yeah, they just absolutely thought it was incredible. And of course, town staff and everybody, they were amazing. They all worked so hard. I called David and talked to him about it next day. He got emotional on him, but it's just crazy. But that guy right there, you guys know, comes from the top. He goes above and beyond on that thing. It's amazing. He's wore out the next day, and he still went somewhere. So, just great job, and hopefully we can come up with something to celebrate that. We're planning to do it anyway, so we hope we come up and celebrate with our team. Just an awesome.
Come a long way from the watermelon festival.
Yeah.
You think so?
We started, if y'all didn't notice, we started where Tractor Supply is, probably what? 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We bought some more. I'm Winberry Farms, obviously. We bought a few watermelons down there, had a few vendors. And that's how we started. Walmart was gracious enough to let us use the property.
Cooked some hamburgers.
That's correct.
Then we stopped it a little bit. We started it back up, and we decided we wanted to all the food pantries around here were empty. We decided we wanted to get food.
That's correct.
So we cranked Cedar Fest back up and everybody that came had to bring canned food.
Yeah.
So that's, and it worked. So, I mean, that's, yeah, now it's where it's at now, which is crazy. It's kudos to the town, all the people that's involved in it. It's just absolutely.
I'm glad we moved it to October instead of July.
Oh, July was crazy time to have that thing.
Had to do that with the watermelons.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I did it then, yeah. The watermelon.
All right, guys, we have a closed session tonight, so we're gonna have to.
Call you?
We're not gonna vote on anything when you, the night afterwards, so thanks for coming. We're really glad you guys came.
Move we adjourn the meeting.
Motion on the floor.
Aye.